a lot of different things you can do using Scratch. So each week I'll have a different project for you with a little for you to practice with. Now, so during this recording, anytime you're watching, feel free to pause it and complete some stuff on your own so you can move along with the recording as you want. But today, let's do kind of an overview of Scratch and do our first project. So today, this presentation is called Ready, Set, Code for Kids. My name is Jennifer Marks. I'm the librarian at the Cockrell Public Library. And just so you know, this one presentation is made with Grow with Google. If you're not familiar, Grow with Google is an initiative that brings the best of Google's training and tools to help people grow their skills, careers, and businesses. So we're gonna have a lot of fun today. Like I said, anytime you feel like pausing the video so you can practice yourself, feel free to do so. So first, let's mention kind of what is computer science. Coding is a part of that. Computer science, it uses computers to make amazing projects, also called programs, that allow people to play, do work, and save time. Computer science, or CS, is a subject you can actually study in school. It's also a career. CS teaches skills and ways of thinking that you can use in many different situations throughout your life, like problem solving, for example. So how can we use a computer to fix real life issues? Well, I have a video here I want to start with and have you watch about some girls who found a way to use computer science to help them to make an app to help clean up their community. That's one example of how you can use coding. But over the summer, we're going to be teaching you how to code using Scratch, and you can then we'll just have fun with it, and then maybe you can apply it in your own life, how you feel fit. So when you think of some other uses for computer science, that I mentioned they made an app, one way people use computer science is actually just word processing, typing. I know back before computers were that commonplace, a lot of people had to write, or the electronic typewriters then kind of went into it. And then you develop into actually having coding guided with computers. You can actually do word processing as a simple thing, but it also helps with things as more complex as making video games. If you play video games, coding is involved in the creation of that. One such video game was popular. I think it's still kind of popular, but it was really blown up a few years ago, was Pokemon Go. It's just a bunch of codes running in a sequence. So you combine with CS, computer science, you can basically create anything you want. And as we say, computer science uses programming, which programming basically is just coding. And when you program or code, you provide instructions for the computer to follow. Many programmers write in text, meaning they have to type that on the keyboard. If you've ever coded before, maybe you're familiar with that. If you haven't, that's perfectly fine. We're going to learn a particular language of coding, which is using Scratch. So today's activity, we're going to actually do some programming of your own, some coding of your own. We're going to be doing a walk through a Google CS First Adventures on the High Seas. We're going to be telling a story. And we're going to do that, like I mentioned, using Scratch. Scratch is a programming language, and will be guided through creating your own animated story today. The Scratch language, instead of typing the keyboard, you're using code. You code using blocks that will snap together like puzzle pieces, so it's a little easier, I think. A good start. Well, let's meet Scratch. This is the Scratch editor. It consists of 3 areas. The first section is called the stage, which is a section on the right of your screen. The top part of the stage shows the program we are creating. The lower areas where we place the characters, replace all of the characters or objects we want to include in our program. These objects or characters are called sprites. If you want to add a new sprite, you'll click your mouse over the character's face icon in the lower right-hand corner and click New Sprite. So how do we tell the computer what to do with these sprites? Well, over here on the left-hand side of the screen is the second piece of the Scratch project editor. It's the code menu. This menu has all the instruction blocks we need to create our program. All the instruction blocks are color-coded. So let's check out some of the codes you might use today and in the future here. These yellow ones, as you see, are events. You're mainly going to use today this when the green flag is clicked. This block here. This means the entire program will run when you click on this green flag over here. This is very important. Make sure you only run your code with a flag click block. Do not click on the code blocks themselves. If you do, it may make one of the sprites do something you didn't intend to do. It would be very difficult to fix. So for what we're going to do, you always want to start with this when green flag clicked. If you want to work with motion, you click the blue up here, and you'll see the different motion blocks. These are going to tell your sprites to move. For example, it could be tilt or rotating the boat here. If you want to program looks, you click the purple set. This allows you to change the sprite's appearance and program the characters to speak to each other. You'll use a set of blocks to read the narrative for your story. And if you want the program to have sound, you click the pink set here. Maybe you want the sound of the sea or some nice music for your characters to listen to. The orange one is the control blocks. They actually control the code you're creating. For example, if you want to tell the computer to run your code forever, you would click the forever block in the gold set. In this case, you see the block here has repeat 2 times. But they do also have, wait 1 second. You see there's different ones depending on what you want it to do. And then because you're all super creative, you may want to change your story as you go. It's important to know how to delete blocks. If you ever feel the need, simply right click the block you want to delete and select delete. So if you put something on there and you realize I don't want to do that, right click it and then you really delete it off. Now, last thing before we jump into this activity, it's really important when you're snapping your blocks together and creating your story, make sure the sprite you want to edit is highlighted in the lower part of the stage. For example, if I want to edit the boat, I have to make sure that I click the image of the boat before I start creating code for it. And as you can see, when I click the sprite I want to edit, it flashes down in the image below. So that's a general overview of everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do some fielding and actually do it directly so you can see. Okay, let me go to the demo screen here. Okay, so here's actually me looking right in Scratch directly instead of a part of the presentation. So we're going to start by just clicking the boat that we want to include here. So right here, this is the sprite I have. I have this boat, and I have this as the water background. As you see, there's no code here. When I click on the water, we do have some code already for the boat. But if you want to change the look of the boat, what we can do is we're clicking on boat here and see how it highlights when I click on it there. We'll go over here, that's code. We have costumes and sounds. So we're going to click on costumes. And this actually gives us some other options here. If we wanted to have the boat look like Titanic, click on that. You can actually have a submarine. If you want, you can do a sailboat. Now for this story, it's best to do the standard boat or the Titanic. But just so you know, you can change the costume and that in the future if you wanted to do submarine or sailboat. Just for the process of this story, it's probably best to stay with the boat or Titanic. Now we know what boat we want. We actually want to add some characters because we want to have some characters actually on there because we're going to have 2 characters talking to each other for the course of the story. So we go down here, we're going to choose a new sprite. So click there, choose a sprite. And you see we have some different ones. We got animals, people, fantasy, dance, music, sports, food, fashion, letters, or you can actually search for stuff as well. Let's just say I like this guy, Andy. I'm going to click him as one. And let me click another one here. So we have 2 characters. Let's do an animal. How about? They don't all have to be, it might be nice to have a little dinosaur friend. Okay, so what's wrong here? You notice they got 2 characters here. They're kind of weirdly set, aren't they? They don't seem to be on the boat. They seem to be on the water, and they're very close, to each other as well. So we need to kind of fix this up a little bit. So first we're gonna go back to the code menu here. Actually, we're gonna click on, we're doing the dinosaur. So we're starting with the dinosaur. We're going to code menu here. So what we're gonna do now is we're first gonna do events. When we drag that to here, when the green flag is checked, then we're gonna do a couple of looks, and we're gonna go, there we go. We want it to go back. Actually, that's not the right one, so let's delete that out. See, we can delete. We actually want to go, so we'll choose this forward one layer, but we're actually going to go backward one layer. And then that's clicked. So let's click it and see. Ah, there you go. The dinosaur is actually on the boat now. And we're going to do the same thing for on Andy. So we'll click on him there. Go to the event when the green flag is clicked. You go to looks. And you're going to scroll down. It might say go forward one layer. We can change that if that's an arrow to backward one layer. Oh, there we go. Also, and let's click on the arrow. There we go. Okay, now what also is wrong with this? You know, the size is a little big, I think, especially for the dinosaur. And what we can do, we go to costumes here. Actually, here, over here, we don't even need costumes. Over here, it has size and direction. So we can actually, let's try 50%. Ooh, that may be a little too small. Let's go 75. There you go, a little better fit. And same thing for Andy. He's a little big as well. Let's try him as well. Once again, that's a little too small, but let's do like 80%. There you go. They're a little bit more balanced, I think. Go back to code. Now that we got that, let's see about actually having them talk to each other. So we have them on the boat. We're going to have some conversation. So you can choose who you want to talk first. So let's just say we're having Andy speak first. So we're going to actually do looks, which seems weird, but we're going to have him say, and you can type it instead of hello. Maybe we'll do want to play some ball, because he's got a basketball, for 2 seconds. And then we'll go back to the dinosaur, and he's going to respond. Now, the thing is, he can't respond right away because they'll be talking over each other. So it would be good to have him control here. We're going to have him wait. We have him wait a couple seconds first before he talks. So we go to wait, and then we go to looks, and then we're going to have him say something here. So maybe say on a, oops, you respond on a boat. And then we can go back to Andy, and same thing, we're going to control. I'm sorry, that's going to go to control. We're going to have him wait now 2 seconds, and then go back to looks. And then he's going to, oops, I'll change this guy. That's the thing in the blocks. You got to be careful. They can hook anyway. Then we change this. You can play ball anywhere. Okay, let's test it out and see if it works. So, want to play some ball? On a boat, you can play ball anywhere. And there we go. Go back and forth. And you keep doing the same thing. So, if you guys want to pause it here and practice that a little bit, you can. But that gives you a way you can choose choose the boat, how you look at, choose the characters you want, add some conversation in there, make sure they're standing on the boat in the right size, and then practice some dialogue back and forth between them. So we've selected the boat, we added 2 sprites, we added go to front block to the water sprite. Oh, we did not do that. Maybe that would help, because you can actually, also the water is a sprite too. So let's do event when the red flag is clicked. It looks. Go to front layer. Let's see if that works better. There we go. So now it looks like you're actually, the boat's in the water. That looks better now. And then we added when the flag clicked, you can say in the first sprite talk, and you can have them wait and say a second talk and continue to build your dialogue. So great, that's keep on doing that, build your story. I'm going to include a link to both the Scratch website. You can create your own account. If you create your own account, then you can save your projects as you go and do different projects. And next week we'll have a new project. I'll show you how to do something else. But this one's just a basic story to get you familiar with the Scratch process. So thank you so much for joining us. And just so you know, coding is basically just a computer science, CS. And there's so many things computer science can do. Coding is one of them. You can code things like apps, animations, websites, and machines. And it's a skill that you can use no matter how old or young you are. Also, CS can also teach you problem-solving skills and new ways of thinking. So like today, you had to think of some tough problems and piece things together to form a bigger picture. So we had to think, well, why isn't it doing this? What can I do to fix that? When things go wrong, test it, click the green flag, and figure out how to fix it. So if you're interested in learning more about computer science, you can see if there's a computer science club in your area, but stay tuned every Thursday. I'll have a new coding project with Scratch so you can get some practice. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us.